Kaya, kaya. Kaya wanju, ngan Jurpan General Nunuk, ngan Troy Bennell. I'd like to welcome you to Wardandi Budja. First of all, I'd like to say, Cooey! Cooey! Kaya! Louder, ready? Kaya! Everyone show me your hand when you say Kaya. Kaya! That's all we do. We always wave and say hello. The English way of Mick Gary then, we shook hands. Hello, top of the morning. G'day. G'day, how you going? Kaya. Said Kaya to the Albany representative here as well. But it's interesting, Kaya is really important. The hand gesture. Dean Lomax, every time I see him we wave. Very important. If I wave to him and he don't wave back, I think, oh, something wrong. I might have to send him a message. What's wrong, bro? That is really important, the hand gesture. Kaya is one of the most important words because it's what we said. The next one was wanju, welcome. Kaya wanju. Nganjurapan Jinaning Nunuk, that's the other one. I'm happy to see you on my country. Very important words, but the biggest thing is, the other one I was yarning with a girl down here from Margaret River and talking about two words here as well. Compassionate communities. Compassion, oh wow, big words. Empathy. I'm dealing with my mum. She's just come out of hospital after having a stroke. I've taken on that care, the compassion. And I realise as a son, to care for my mother, that's a daughter's job. But it's true, that's culture. But my sister's not in the right space, but I've got the 4 daughters, see? So by me changing my dynamics of home, compassion for my mum's a part of my community. Our biggest thing in our community, you can't put Aboriginal people in a home. Who said that? As long as we know she's happy and we go and visit her every day and look after her while she's getting care, because care's bloody hard, I tell you. Bad enough I had her home for the first 5 days and I give her my bed. I got a nice high bed. And she's got a dog called Prince. Little purebred Shih Tzu I bought her. He'd been laying on my bed, laying back like a king. I said, Mum, we should change his name to King, not Prince. But realising that if I don't care for Prince too, it affects Mum. That's her Dwert, her dog, Dwert. Auntie Nora tells a good story. When she first went to school, my dad's sister, they taught her A-E-I-O-U and how now brown car and D-O-G dog. She said, we don't say dog, we say Dwert. So I'm caring for my mum's Dwert. Caring for mum's Dwert, I mean, Mum will be happy, she'll be chirping. But then we know when Mum comes back out into the community, she'll be murdich. She'll be absolutely murdich. And murdich is a good word because murdich is what we build our, trying to keep our community strong. And as a Noongar community, 60,000 years, 70,000. How much Aboriginal faces we see here in our are you mob caring for our community? That's the biggest thing we always ask. I always question. What about our Noongar community? I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays with kids in foster care that come from the Kimberley community, the Pilbara community, the desert community. They're all down here in Noongar country under foster care. which shows you that things aren't working right. They get all the royalties, but they're in my community. All the funding, big multi-million-dollar gas companies and Rio Tintos and Jukin and all that crap. But we've got to fix our communities right. They're in my country. These kids from the desert, the Pilbara. But by fixing our community right here, we can do it together. And the other word is Dunju. Together. I can't do this without you. You can't do this without me. But thank goodness we're all here together. So on behalf of our Noongar community, we'd like to say Kaya Ngan Jurupan Jinna Nunuk. I'm happy to be here on behalf of our Wardandi people. So, Buddha, and I'll see you mob in the dream time. Thank you. See ya.
Listen to you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm on speaker. I could listen to Troy all day. So welcome everyone. On behalf of the Southwest Compassionate Communities Network and our sponsors, welcome to this very important forum. Let's together today build a compassionate and connected WA. Did we think that we were going to receive the numbers and the response that we have? No. Thank you so much. And I was worried that the room was going to be too full and you're going to be crammed in, but from up here you look absolutely fantastic. But what I want to share with you all is today is your day, this is your room, and this is a conversation that we're sharing together. This is not a corporate event, this is a community event. So if you want to move your chairs out, please get comfortable. At any time that you need to go and make yourself a cup of tea, please just get up and move around the room. It is a long day, but it's an important day. So please enjoy. Because today really demonstrates our human desire to do more, to contribute to the way that we care for our friends, family, neighbours, community, work colleagues, and fellow human beings. So make yourself comfortable, but first, can I ask you all to please say a big hello? Can everyone wave? Because we're live streaming today, and we are live streaming from Bunbury around the world. We have people here live streaming from Canada, the UK, Lebanon, South Australia, New South Wales, and WA. That is absolutely incredible. So what's also important to know is timing. We have to consider timing today because we are live streaming, so we will be keeping it fairly tight to make sure that we can get through all of our important speakers. So my name's Leanne O'Shea and I'm the Vice Chair of Compassionate Communities here in the Southwest. Can everyone hear me creeping around? Is that really annoying? Maybe I should take my shoes off. I'm wearing high heels and I don't normally wear high heels. So my name's Leanne O'Shea and I'm the Vice Chair of the Southwest Compassionate Communities Network, and it's an honour to be here with you today. But first and foremost, it's important to know that I have always volunteered in the community that I live in. It's important to give back, not only for our own health, but for the well-being of others. The role that I'm playing today is a volunteer role to ensure that we have this very important conversation. But also my work as an experienced grief counsellor and an end-of-life companion has also really identified the importance of encouraging you all to step into the discomfort, to find comfort. Community builds cultural change, so let's change the way that we care for the dying and the grieving. Thank you for your courage to participate in this very important conversation. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. I'm sure everyone knows where the toilets are. If not, they're down the very end to the right. At any time that you need to get up and make a cup of tea, please do so. There is water on your table, but there's also water in your forum bags. There's also a lot of information in those bags, so please take them home. Does everyone mind if I take my shoes off? That is... I don't think I'm going to creak. No, I am. So there's a few things I want to share with you because there's some really special things here today for you, for this forum and for this very important conversation. We have the Compassionate Schools project, and in the foyer there are 3 schools: Thomas More from Margaret River, Mania College from Bunbury, and Kernage College from Manjimup. They have all been a part of the Compassionate Schools project, and they will be sharing with you later on their displays and what it means to their school to have this very important conversation. Professionally and personally, we can all dive further into the deeper understanding of grief, death, compassion, and community connectedness. A partnership model is very important. We are all experts, and certainly when it comes to the way that we care, die, and grieve. In this room, we have all sectors of the community. So professionally and personally, the non-expert voice always has value. We are better together. So today we have our Compassionate Communities volunteer here to ensure your day is enjoyable. Anyone that you see in a purple jacket is here to ensure that you have a great day. Anything that you need to make your day enjoyable and comfortable, please make sure that you reach out for their support. There also may be times throughout the day that you may be triggered, become emotional, and again, they are experienced and are here to support you in any way. In front of you, you have a copy of your program that takes you through the details of today. Please follow that. You also have a Q&A later on today, and the Q&A is an opportunity for you to ask any questions. But your questions need to be texted through to this number, 0438 381 790. And I do understand Dean is going to share that on the screen throughout the day. So any questions that you have that come to mind when someone is speaking, please text your question to that mobile number, 0438 381 790. On the table is a contact form with some questions. We highly encourage you to complete that form throughout the day, and our volunteers will come around and collect them. Out in the foyer, you'll also see on the window is a Before I Die. Please contribute to that. Please think about all the things that are important to you for you to do before you die and contribute to that wall. As I've shared with you, today is being live streamed around the world, and it's important that we keep to time. We are also filming today and developing a documentary. The information that we're sharing today is really going to contribute to what we're here for, and that is to build a compassionate and connected WA. So we want to make sure that we have that information to share long after we've left this room. I want to acknowledge our sponsors. Can you put them up on the screen, Dean? Is that possible? On my screen, thank you. So I want to acknowledge our sponsors, Pallative Care WA. Lana is one of the first ones that puts their hands up to recognise that this day was very important. La Trobe University, Perrin Institute, the Governor of Western Australia, Retrovision, South West Development Commission, William Barrett and Sons, an incredible community business that supports everything that we do, Bunbury Mail, and Honourable Don Punch. Without our sponsors, this simply wasn't possible, and it's important that we recognise those that stand behind the South West Compassionate Communities Network to make this conversation possible. So our team of volunteers certainly have contributed to the success of today's event. The South West Compassionate Communities Network work on many projects throughout the year, but there's one project in particular that we want to focus on today, and that's our Community Connector program. The Community Connector project has trained volunteers, and those volunteers are called connectors, and they facilitate the use of community networks to provide extra support to people with a life-limiting illness, chronic disease, and their families. Each family participating in the project is matched with a volunteer connector who will meet with them. The idea behind the Community Connector project is to make the most of the people's local community, family, work colleagues, friends and neighbours. Some of this is practical support and some of it is social support. to increase people's sense of belonging and connectedness. Caring helpers might be existing family, friends, neighbours and other people from the local community who are willing to able to assist. Samar, our wonderful chairperson, will be sharing more about this project in her presentation later today. But for now, we want to share with you a very short film that we've developed to just show you the importance of this project and the great work that it's doing in our community.
I think the community needs to be there to support. Death's not a secret, but sadly we often treat it as a secret.
I'm a New Zealand born Māori, and I met my husband Malcolm at Teachers Training College in New Zealand in 1970, and we married in 1972. I guess I can describe Malcolm as he didn't have any enemies, and there wasn't anyone that didn't like him. He was strong, he was frightened about dying.
I met Gus in 1980 at the Blacktown Workers Club, mid-year, and 5 days later we moved in together. So we've been together nearly 41 years. We married in 88, and by that time we had 6 children, so we're a blended family. Gus had 2 children, I had 2 children, we had 2 children. Gus was very, very fit. He'd gone back to uni as a mature age, around about 60 years old, I think he went back. He loved books, writers, authors, always had. He always thought he had a book in him, they say everyone has, and he did have. And then he became ill, and we never thought it would last.
For the first few days, the doctors were saying he's got a very big growth on his lung, and he would not be surviving probably days. It wasn't going to be long. And so, because he didn't want to die, he wasn't ready, we asked really that we go somewhere that we can, help to. The doctors were worried that we were trying to prolong Malk's life because we didn't want him to leave, but that wasn't the case at all. We didn't want him to leave until he was ready to leave, until he was ready to die. So, in there I looked at the compassionate program and asked to join and be part of it.
To have Gus suddenly, very, very suddenly unwell, it just threw us in a tailspin. I think everyone knows they could get sick at some point, but you never think it's going to be you. And we never thought it'd be permanent.
We still have kids sitting in desks. I came into contact with this connection, this program. There was something left after a meeting in hospital, and I looked at it and wondered about it, and had put our names down, talked about it with Malk.
I had the privilege of coming in and meeting with Mary and Malcolm. I could see they both had needs. Both were so loving towards each other and were so worried about the other person they weren't discussing their individual needs. My role was to come in and I guess get that conversation going. Both incredibly capable people, and I saw myself as being an advocate, just to slow them down and say, what do you need? Yes, you're capable of doing that, you can do that, you're intelligent people and you're in control of this situation.
It was wonderful meeting Jenny, and we got on straight away. And she's the type of person that you can talk safely with, if that makes sense. That you can sit down and you can have a conversation and talk about things that you can't talk about to other people, about how this has impacted on your life. And be honest. It don't always get the opportunity with family or friends, to be honest.
I do a lot of listening with Jenny, and with Gus I was able to get a retired principal to go in and spend time with him. Gus is a very academic man and he likes an intellectual conversation, so it's sort of finding people that kind of meet that need. Yeah.
On end-of-life care, upskilling the community is a really key point that we are working towards in the Compassion Communities Network. There's nothing worse when, you know, somebody dies and then the family is lost. What do they want? We've never had that conversation. And I think this is where the community needs to focus on, and I think we will get a much better advanced care planning than, say, a clinician doing this in a hospital or a clinic, because we're talking about a life.
No one wants to feel helpless, and it took me a little while to realise that this wasn't so much about helping, it was about supporting and being beside people during times when they otherwise couldn't cope on their own, and that was me. I was just overwhelmed.
I would have completely, I believe, fallen over if I hadn't had the Compassionate program and being involved with Jenny in the Compassionate program.
Nobody wants to die, but if people are allowed to speak about their fears around death, I think it makes that process more bearable for them and those that love them.
We have Jenny and Mary in the room with us today, so thank you so much. We also have many of our community connectors, and they will be coming up on stage later with Samar as she shares more about this important project. So a compassionate community is everyone's responsibility. Our vision is to ensure that every person, every family and every community in Australia and WA, I was meant to say WA but clearly it's Australia, knows what to do when someone is caring, dying and grieving. Today we have an incredible lineup of speakers sharing with you how to develop a compassionate community and the importance of grief literacy. Today we're going to weave ourselves through the joys and sorrows of life. We can't have one without the other. The joys of compassion, the joys of community, the joys of coming together, the joys of the wonderful place that we live. But the sorrows of death, dying, grief and bereavement, they all are important. There is no distance between happiness and sorrow or life and death. They go together. Sometimes one feels happy and life seems bright, and sometimes one feels sad and life seems miserable. Joy and sorrow work together, life and death work together. There is no second that belongs entirely to life or entirely to death. The first second of life is also the first second of death. Death can take place even in the first second. Creation and destruction go hand in hand. One cannot find even one man who's only been praised and never condemned, or always condemned and never praised. Both go together. The balance is maintained. An individual wants gain but not loss, joy but not sorrow, life but not death. He wants praise, never condemnation. He then forgets the universal law. In this dualistic world, nothing comes alone. There's one more thing I'm going to share with you before we have our next speaker, and it's a very important piece in the corner down the front here. and it's actually our botanical nest, and we have a lovely, wonderful lady where I got to meet and was honoured to work with her and her beautiful family with the recent loss of their mother. Lara Rose has built a nest to represent our caring community with some special botanical ingredients. Cypress, a sign of strength, eternity, and dews for spiritual connection. Wheat, which symbolises rebirth and renewal wholly. For peace, lichen, fungus, representing the circle of life. We all shall one day return to the earth. You will find a sprig of rosemary at your table for remembrance. Over the course of the day, please join us in a little ceremony and add your sprig of rosemary into the heart centre of the nest in memory of your loved ones gone. It's a remembrance, it's a ritual, and it's a ceremony, and it's so important. As Western culture, do we do death and dying well? Probably not. I can see lots of people shaking their heads, and that's why we're here today. We're here to change community, and we're developing a compassionate community. So please take your sprigs of rosemary and remember those that have died. And huge thanks to Lara for the wonderful work that you've done. But I also quickly want to share with you remembrance, and the desire to be remembered lives within our genetic makeup. It is the age-old reason people carve their initials in trees, place their hands in cement, and chalk their names on rocks. They want to leave their mark, they want to be remembered, but for the living, the real marks they leave are the ones they've left on us, a hug, a smile, a timely word of advice. We want to remember those we've loved and lost, not only for them, but also, as importantly for ourselves, to mend, to heal, to live and never forget. So together, let's build a compassionate community. I'd now like to introduce Bunbury Mayor, Gary Brennen, to do our opening address.
Well, good morning, everybody. Where's Troy? Is he gone already? So let me say, Kaya Wanju to Goomburup, which is Wadani Noongar Budja, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So good morning and welcome to Bunbury. The Noongar word for Bunbury is Goomburup. And we're part of the great Noongar nation, and Wadandi is the local language group for the Noongar nation. So I think we're going to need to put out boxes of tissues on each of those tables. I don't know about you, but I'm a very sensitive person. What I've seen already, I thought, oh, gee whiz. I don't know how you're going to get through the day, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of ladies here. Dennis and I were chatting, Dennis made the observation, he's quite right. Where are all the blokes? There's a few here. David's here, I see a few. I won't name the ones that I know, but there's a few here, but certainly a lot of ladies. Good to have you all here. What an important topic, very important topic. I mean, in Bunbury we've had Choose Respect, we have Choose Respect. Throughout Australia we have Relay for Life, we have Diwali, we have Multicultural Weeks, we have Reconciliation, we have NAIDOC Weeks, but I don't think we have Compassionate Community Weeks. Perhaps every day should be a Compassionate Community Week or every day, and I think that's what Samar and her team are getting at. So I'm very keen to learn. I know Treslin is here, one of our city councillors. Is there anybody else, Tres? Any other city councillors here? Okay, well Tres is here and she'll follow this through with me. I've got 8 weeks left. Tres has got another 4 years at least. Bunbury, for those of you who haven't been here for a while, I think you'll be very impressed with how, look at this, 3 minutes left. I said I'd be 2 minutes. Okay, I'll continue. Bunbury is a very beautiful city. We have a lot to offer our visitors. I hope those of you who do stay overnight get the chance to visit the cafes, the restaurants, the pubs. We have a lot of cultural activities here as well. We've got a beautiful Noongar Country Art Exhibition at the Regional Art Gallery for those of you into art. Love that display in the corner, it's absolutely stunning. And before I finish, I just want to acknowledge the Honourable Don Punch, our member for Bunbury. I should say Don is Helen's husband. Helen was the harpist, is the harpist out in the foyer. She's a very talented lady and a very caring and compassionate lady. And I also want to extend a very warm welcome to the Albany Mayor, Dennis Wellington. Dennis, welcome to Bunbury. Welcome to Paradise, mate. You need to come here more often. Samar, congratulations to you and your hard-working committee, and thank you to all the sponsors for making this possible. I hope you have a very productive day. I know it's going to be very meaningful and quite emotional. I'm 100% behind this project, so let's enjoy it.
Thank you. More bickies. Yes, the biscuits on your table are absolutely delicious, so please enjoy yourself with those. I also did want to share with you that there are tissues in your forum packs. Thank you for raising that, because emotions are really important. Grief is a very natural response to loss, and emotions are something that we really also need to relearn in our community. So I think emotions are what's going to actually drive this conversation. Next, I would very much like to invite two wonderful ladies that I enjoy working with greatly. So Professor Samar Aoun from our chair of the Southwest Compassionate Communities Network, and the wonderful Lana Glogowski from the CEO of Pallative Care WA, our major sponsor.
Thank you, Leanne, our MC extraordinaire. Leanne has put a lot of work in this conference with her passion, energy, and great organisation. Thank you very much. Wow, we've made it without a lockdown. Hey. We are so lucky to be able to hold anything face-to-face these days. So welcome everybody, like from all walks of life. This is what a compassion community is about, from the different parts of the Southwest and the Great Southern, and as Leanne mentioned, all the other people on live stream who are connecting as well. So I'd like to welcome Mayor Gary, let's start with Don Punch, actually, MLA, and wife Helen. Welcome, nice to see you here. Mayor Gary Brennen, you've heard, thank you for the lovely speech and the welcome to the city. Treslyn Smith, Bunbury City Councillor, and husband David. Mayor Dennis Wellington from Albany, thank you very much, and his partner Kerry Carter-Brown, welcome. And also all our Albany colleagues from the compassion communities. So wonderful to be able to share this occasion with you. Speakers, La Trobe University, they really supported this quite a lot. Thank you for coming on board later. And of course, all the other sponsors that Leanne have mentioned. So in the benefit of time, I won't go through all of them, but welcome everybody. So why are we here all today? What's bringing us to be together and work together? We really want to do better compassionate care. We are all doing it to a certain extent. Compassionate care is when we respond with humanity and kindness to each other's pain, distress, anxiety, or need. We search for the things we can do, however small, to give comfort and relieve suffering. We find time for those we serve and work alongside. We do not wait to be asked because we care. We all want to live in a compassionate city, and this is the ultimate aim as well. I will let Professor Alan Callagher talk about compassion communities in his video. But a compassionate city, it is an uncomfortable city. A city that is uncomfortable with anyone when we have anyone who is homeless and hungry. Uncomfortable if every child isn't loved and given rich opportunity to grow and thrive. Uncomfortable when, as a community, we don't treat our neighbors as we would wish to be treated. And I might say, and of course colleagues have said this, the steady increase of inequality and disadvantage in society is a failure of compassion. Compassion is the glue that holds society together. I hope you will leave this forum more inspired than you already are inspired to spread the compassion wherever you live. Thank you. I also would like to welcome our partner in crime, Palliative Care WA CEO, Lana Glogowski, who it goes together with End of Life and Palliative Care. Welcome, Lana.
Kaya Wanju. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction, Samar. My name is Lana Glogowski. I'm the CEO of Palliative Care. I've only got a very short period of time to address you. 3-4 minutes, Samar? Right. So I've just got 3 things that I'd like to share with you. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the Richard Lockwood Charitable Foundation. So Richard is a philanthropist who has supported Palliative Care WA, and we in turn have shared some of his wonderful funding with the Southwest Compassionate Community. So I'd really like to acknowledge and thank him for his philanthropic support. So round of applause for Richard. Thank you. So the 3 things very briefly that I'd like to talk about from the Palliative Care WA perspective is, as part of a compassionate community, as part of preparing for the fact that we are all going to die, it's really important that we plan. So many of you will know about the concept of advanced care planning. So fortunately, Palliative Care WA have been funded by WA Health to run advanced care planning workshops. So from all the communities that you are connected with, I really invite you to consider jumping onto our website and having a look at what we can offer. They're free, they've been externally evaluated with really great results. We get fabulous feedback from our participants. So if you and your community would like to do some planning for the last stage of your life, please jump on our website and have a look at the concept of advanced care planning. The second thing I'd like to talk about is the fact that Palliative Care WA has set up the Compassionate Communities Network of WA. It's a really informal coming together of those people who are interested in compassionate communities. So we meet by that fabulous technology Zoom. So anybody anywhere in WA can join up with us. We meet for an hour once a month. We invite people who are expert in compassionate communities, so Samar and Leanne join us, but we also have people who are just interested, who want to find out about compassionate communities and find out about what they can do in their community. So again, jump on our website. We'd love to have you as part of the conversation. The last thing, and I've got a minute warning, the last thing I'd like to talk about is our Lasting Words initiative. And I'd like to pick up on Leanne's comment about the fact that we all want to leave our mark. So what Lasting Words does is link people who are volunteers with people who are beginning the last stage of their life. So they may be receiving palliative care, they may be in aged care, they may be people who are managing a disability, but they want to tell their story. They want to share their life learnings. They want to leave their mark. And maybe they don't have the capacity to do that. So like the Community Connectors program, it's about linking them up with a volunteer who can help them to write their story. So Lasting Words is an organisation that we are auspicing in Perth, but really interestingly, and this has happened quite quickly, we have Rosie in Busselton, we have people in Bunbury, Walpole, in the Hills, who are looking at setting up their own Lasting Words groups. So if you're interested in Lasting Words in any capacity, again, go to our website, have a look, give us a call, send us an email. We'd really love to hear from you. So thank you so much for the opportunity to sponsor this day. Thank you for my 3 minutes slot. And if you want to have a chat to me at any stage during the day about any of these initiatives, I'd really love to have a chat. Thank you very much.
Lana, your beautiful thank you gift. I'm very passionate about volunteering in the community, so I just want to ask everyone in the room, if you are a volunteer in the community, can you raise your hand? Thank you so very much. I do 2 days a week at the Busselton Hospice and I'm very proud to work there, but one thing that I've enjoyed the most is observing the 80 so volunteers that we have at the Busselton Hospice. They teach me every day and I just can't wait to retire. They make life look so good. Another thing I quickly wanted to share with you, in your program on the last page, it shows you the events for Dying to Know Day. Dying to Know Day is a national event held each year on the 8th of August. We have many events before and after this wonderful forum, again, continuing this important conversation. So if you can, please support those events and attend. I know Friday through the day and last night they have wonderful attendance to the event so far, so thank you if you can.